Hey, and welcome to the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. I am your girl, Suzanne, also known as Positively Suzanne. Now, remember, this podcast was created with us in mind. It is a reminder that not only are we worthy, but we deserve the best versions of ourselves. So grab a cup of tea or your beverage of choice and sit back and relax and join me on this journey.
Hi, it's your girl, Suzanne, and I am so excited about this month of female entrepreneurs. I have had such fun just sitting down and chatting with so many fantastic female entrepreneurs who are just doing their thing. And I am beyond excited today because you've heard me talk about her a lot on this podcast. I am sitting down with my bestie, the phenomenal Tata. All right, you cannot call her Tata. Her name is Miss Talita. You can address her as such. And she is the phenomenal founder, owner, CEO, creative director, and everything in between of Plan4mamy. And she's going to talk to you a little bit about what Plan4mamy is. But I have known this young lady for over 20 years, and we're both only 18. But anyway.
You've known me from when I was young.
So I think she's saying we're not young, but I'm going to walk past that statement. But I've known her for so long, and she's exceptional. She was a retail manager for such a long time at such a very young age, before she was 20 years old, moved to Brazil, went to business school, worked at an international corporation in HR, had so many high-level executive roles, and most recently became a mommy, and then decided, hey, I don't have enough work right now, so let me become a CEO of my own company. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Miss Talita Neves, the CEO of Plan4mamy. Welcome.
Well, can I show my excitement, or should I just pretend it's just a normal thing to be here? I am so excited, not only because we have shared a life together, and as romantic as this sounds, it's not supposed to be romantic, but it is real. I mean, we have known each other for decades now, I can say. And I just never thought this day would happen for us to be together in a podcast and talk about so many important issues. So first, before anything else, I just want to say thank you very much for the invitation. I am so thrilled to be here, especially to talk of something so important that we've been in contact with so many women that have decided to change their lives and work after a purpose and to dedicate into a purpose specifically. And that is my case. So as you have already said, I am Miss Talita, speaking all the way from Brazil. Just very recently, I decided to leave everything behind. So my 17 years, can you believe it? 17 years in the corporate business. After, going to business school and being very, very grateful for everything that I have built in the corporate business. And then I planned to become a mother. And then I did about 2 years and 4 months ago. And everything was just so challenging. I had so many difficulties all the way from breastfeeding to dealing with the very little sleep that I had, and also dealing with everything and my emotionals and this new role in my life that was to be a mom. It was just so challenging to me that I spent over 6 months thinking that it should be something that these women should do before they become a mother to prep themselves for this moment so it's less challenging. And that feeling kept bothering me for all these months, and I was supposed to go back to work because here in Brazil, different than America, we have a 6 months maternity leave. Yes. Uh-huh. Now we have all folks moving to Brazil just to become parents.
That's it. I'm getting pregnant tomorrow, moving to Brazil.
So yes, I did have these, maybe, you know what? Maybe if I didn't have the 6 months to think through, I wouldn't have done what I did because I had to quickly go back to, if I was in America, I would have to quickly go back to work within 8 weeks. Yes. So I wouldn't have time to think this through. But with 6 months of maternity leave, I did think it through and got me God showed me a whole different way, which was to take my experience, all that I went through, all my challenges, and help other women not to have so many challenges as I did, and not to have such a hard time as I did when they first become a mom. And that I went out and looked for how could I specialize myself? What courses could I take? How can I become a professional help, not just somebody who's going to listen, to their complaints and to their difficulties, but somebody who will be capable of helping them through their challenges. And then I searched and I found out about this course. It's called Baby Planner. And I loved the name of it because it had to do with something that I love, which is plan. I like to plan everything, plan a trip, plan a life, plan a business. And then I thought, wow, this might help because I'm going to help these pregnant women before the baby arrives and to plan this arrival to be as smoothly as possible. And then I took this course. It's an international course from this institute in California. It's called International Parenting and Health Institute. So I took that course over our pandemic in Brazil when everything was closed and, I was becoming a mom and I'm like leaving this 17-year career behind. And I'm thinking, I'm crazy or what? And I still think of that. I'm like, did I really do this or this is a movie? And then I took this course and then it opened up my mind so much and I saw so many possibilities. And then I did this big transition, in my life that I left everything behind. I never say I left it behind because I used so much of it. I used so much of my experience of leadership, of looking at a business and thinking of it all the way around. This comes from my backstage and for everything, all the experience I have. So I looked at all the difficulties this woman would have. I looked at it as a business, and then I created Plan4mamy, which, as the name says itself, it's a plan for each mom. It's a plan for you to become a mom in the most smooth way possible. And then I specialize myself in breastfeeding and sleeping consultant here in Brazil. But my focus is before the baby arrives. We have so many breastfeeding and sleeping consultant, very good, with very good techniques. But after the baby is born, my key point is there are information that you need to know before the baby is born. So when the baby is finally born, you know what to do. It's not time for research. You're too busy being a mom. So you kind of already have to know at least which way you're going to go. And that's about it. So I've been doing that for a year and a half. It's still everything very new to me. And all the time I keep telling myself that it took me 17 years to get what I got. And now I need to understand that it's been only a year and a half. And then I have to take it slow on my own expectations. This is a new business. This is a new concept. No one ever heard that you need to prepare before the baby arrives, so it's something new, especially in Brazil, that we don't go for prevention. We just look for things when you already have a problem. And what I'm selling is something opposite of that. I'm telling you that you need to prepare yourself before this baby arrives. So this is something completely new that no one has ever heard of it. So every day, this is my mantra. I wake up and I'm like, Talita, you took 17 years to get where you got. So take a deep breath, slow down. And it's only been a year and a half and you're not dying tomorrow. At least I'm not hoping to die tomorrow. So it's not like I have a final deadline, to make this business happen. But I'm very anxious and I'm thrilled because it's very challenging. Every day is something different. I mean, you have to think. Yeah, even though I had very important roles before as manager, it was never my company. So it was never 100% my decision, and being an entrepreneur is about 24/7. You're thinking through, you're making decisions. Doesn't matter if they're small or big. Your new role is to make decisions. And that could be a little overwhelming because sometimes you just want a break of making decisions. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There were so many gems in that. And, I will say that right now the podcast is audio only. And I'm looking forward to the day where I have a studio where it would be audio and visual, because I would love to see you talking and using your hands, and you're just so passionate about what you do. I mean, I've known you forever. I've known you're an overachiever, and yes, Tata, it took you 17 years to get to the leader that you want to be. So you can't expect to be the full-on expert today. I know you expect it, but you also have to know that, everything. Think of where Amazon was 20 years ago. Think of where any company was 20 years ago, and how they've grown and learned, and, and every year and every day you improve on processes and systems and things like that, and your skill set. So I think you're right where you need to be. You'd mentioned your professional background, and I will say, so right now I'm recording you, and this is the beauty of modern technology. You're in Brazil and I'm in the US, pretending I'm in the Bahamas.
And I'm pretending I'm in an Irish pub.
Okay. So you're in an Irish pub
with this green bar behind me.
So you're in an Irish pub and I'm in the Bahamas, and we're doing this podcast. So I just truly love modern technology. But, you were a manager here for a very reputable brand in the United States. Moved back, went back to international business school, worked in HR for an international company and did so much. But as you said, when you had the baby and that 6-month thing in Brazil, I'm telling you, I'm almost converted. I had 8 weeks after each child.
That's so cruel. That's so cruel.
At that point, I didn't even learn anything at that point. I hadn't even gotten to sleep yet. I think I went straight from the hospital back to work, because those 8 weeks was a blur. So, utilizing that time and really thinking about, okay, these are some challenges I'm facing, and how do I get this out to somebody so somebody else doesn't face this similar problem? And being from Brazil, it's a large country, but there's a lot of third world things there, like folks who don't have access to certain things, where in America, it's just like you can go down the street and have access to pharmacies and all of these things. Not everyone there has that. So you started to think about that. And, one of the key point you mentioned was you're doing preventative. We always think of the problem after the car breaks down. How do I get it fixed versus what do I do to ensure that the car doesn't break down? And sorry if I'm comparing kids to cars, but
no, it's a good comparison. That's okay.
That's what popped into my mind.
Either or can give you huge problems.
Yeah, exactly. Because you ignore it. I mean, you don't learn to drive after you've bought the car, because but that's what we do with parenting, right? Because I don't think you can teach to be a parent, but you can be prepared.
Absolutely.
Certainly be prepared. So, you started, what were some of the first things that you did though, when you decided, so you had this idea and you're like, okay, I'm going to start this business. What were some of the first things that you did?
The very first is to take a few courses that would give me a radar. Like, I had no idea where I would start at. I had this feeling and I had my own struggles, and I saw so many women having struggles. But then I spent a few months thinking, okay, how can I help these people? And in what format, So I started thinking and searching, and I did a lot of research. And the first thing I did is I did all the branding. So I dedicated to a logo, to a name. I wanted it to be international because I wanted to, be recognized not only in Brazil, but some other places. I took courses that would give me international certifications because I did want it to be recognized internationally. So I spent a year or so just working on the brand and working on the purpose of the brand and working on the courses. So I took, since I quit my job, I had a lot of time to dedicate and to take classes. So these courses that I was supposed to take in 2 years, I took like in 8 months, 9 months, because I dedicated so much time on studying that I did in a shorter time. So I studied so much. I took courses here in Brazil. I took classes outside of Brazil. And then I decided to open up the company in a format of consultants. So I help the couples when they're in like 3 33 weeks pregnant. And then I help them. We get together for like 3 meetings. And then I teach them specifically what they need to know about breastfeeding in one of our meetings. Then we're going to talk specifically about sleeping techniques. And then on the 3rd meeting, we talk specifically about postpartum. How can the dynamic of this couple be more, organized? And how can we plan this moment of you have your life going on and all the demands and your job and everything? And how can you manage to have a new baby, a newborn, depending 100% on you, and not go crazy with everything going together at the same time? So I have this consultant, which is 3 meetings. So I see them 3 times. And then when the baby is born, they hire me for the postpartum consultant, which I see them another 3 times. Now I open up a clinic. So they go there and then we see, and then I adjust I adjust breastfeeding and I help them with the sleeping techniques. And then as soon as a month and a half, 2 months old, this baby is sleeping well, is gaining weight, she's breastfeeding without hurting herself. And then soon as 2 months, we have everything already going very smoothly because we started when they were 33-week pregnant. That's the key point. We have everything so smoothly because we start before the baby is born. So that's the format I have right now. However, I have already recorded an info product, which is gonna organize all this information of the prenatal to be more accessible for everybody. So it's not gonna be one-on-one meeting anymore. It's gonna be recorded, and then everybody, because I help a lot of people outside of Brazil. And right now I have a little bit of difficulties because we have the time difference, we have, time frame, and then we have to match all of our agendas, my agenda with the lady and with the husband. So it's like 3 meetings. We have to match up like 9 times different, to set up a meetings. And I'm having a little challenge with that. So that's why I decided to record everything about the prenatal, and then I'm going to sell it as a course. So an online course, and then I'm only going to dedicate myself on helping them after the baby is born, and no matter if it's in my clinic or online, as I already do.
Oh, that's wonderful. I liked what you said about, you had this idea, but you also needed additional support and training. So you took courses that's going to help you be better at this. So you didn't just, you're learning things as you go, but the fundamentals, you're not learning the fundamentals because you're equipped and you says, okay, how do I relay this message to, this person? Because, a lot of people are at different income level, intellectual levels and things like that. So how do you market a product that touches everybody and they don't feel A, you're speaking down to them, or B, they can't understand it? So that is a Herculean task to truly. And I think that's fantastic that you've pivoted from, trying to organize everyone meeting, because that's complicated. And then
it is very.
Throw it all in. You have a baby. They may have a baby. And,
exactly. Yeah. And what you said about I took the time and take courses and, to make sure that I was capable of helping them. And I remember the feeling of thinking, okay, I spent 4 years of my life studying for business, that I could be good in what I was doing. How can I go teach somebody their most challenging role of their life, which is, the arrival of a baby, if I'm not capable? Like, I need to study. I need to be professional in this. My only experience helps a lot because I went through many difficulties, but I cannot take only my experience as my background. Like, I need a foundation which is going to open, my view and my expertise to help these people professionally. Because, to have just somebody to give them tips, they can ask their friends, they can ask their neighbors. Like, my job is not to give them tips. My job is to guide them in the very most challenging period of their lives. Is to, when the baby arrives, you have to conciliate your job, your personal life, your personal needs, and then this baby personal needs, this baby, with all this new demand. So I did spend a lot of time studying, because for me, it was not an option, to go help people if I wasn't professional enough to help them. That's why I'm now able to, as you said, to price, a product and to charge, as fair as possible, because I did put so much study in this. I did invest so much time and energy to bring to these people the best tools they can have when their baby arrives, and what makes me so happy is to see that I didn't have that. And I did have a very challenging postpartum. Well, you were there. We'll never thank you enough for that. And I'm going to use this podcast to say that.
Oh,
anyways, I had a very, very challenging time, and then what makes me very happy is to see that so many women have experienced postpartum so much better experience than I had myself. So right now I'm very comfortable on working on this info product, which is something, I organize this content, and it's about it's about a 5-hour course that I organized, and it's going to give them an opportunity to, this product will reach so many people that right now I can't reach because of time frame, because of agenda. We have limited agenda. I cannot help more than certain people a day. And now with this new product, I'm gonna able to reach so many people around the world, and I'm so thrilled about that, because what I have been doing now to help 30, 40, 50 women a month, I'm gonna able to help way more than that. And that's what makes me so happy right now, is to know that so many women will go through, the beginning of their motherhood, not struggling so much.
That's awesome. You're welcome. We're not going to talk about that, but you know what? What I love about your entrepreneurial journey, and it's so fascinating to me because it was never something that you had talked about in terms of doing this. You've always been an exceptional leader, always climbing that corporate ladder, and you would have been CEO of that company one day. I know it. Yes. And, that was your goal. And, because of a personal experience, you were able to then say, okay, I want to do something about this. So somebody else doesn't have this experience. Let me take courses. And you prepared as much as you can before you could, I should say, before you started it. Because, entrepreneurs have been dreaming about this since there was a baby. No, this is something that was birthed from an experience, but you were right, though. All the experiences and the leadership things that you did over the year kind of prepared you to say, hey, I need a foundation. I need to be as educated as possible. I need to pivot. I need to grow. There's only so many hours in the day. I can't help everybody as much as I want to, because if you're the head and you burn out, then the company goes with you, so doing all of that. And, while having a young baby, I truly admire you, because that is,
well, thank you.
Just phenomenal. I mean, I've always admired you, but I think that is just fantastic. So talk to me a little bit about, so when you were deciding, okay, do I start this business or do I go back to work? What was that like? What were some of the conversations like in your head?
The conversations in my head were like, this is insane, but something's telling me I should do it. No, I'm just kidding. Suzanne, I truly believe that everything that I went through in those 6 months, it was just so strong. Like my experience, with all the feelings of being a mom and all the feelings that I went through, I just felt like I could not move forward, ignoring those feelings that, first of all, it's very challenging and people need help to go through the experience more smoothly. Like that was the thought in my head every day. That was like, it shouldn't be this hard. There should be something that you can do before. I had postpartum depression, which was diagnosed. How can I say that?
Diagnosed. You're right. You said it right.
Okay.
Yes.
so many months after, because I didn't even see myself, and I just don't wish women go through motherhood like that. And that was one of my thoughts, that it should be something that can be done. Like, that was in my head every single day. Even though I had a very established career, I truly believe that this was a purpose God had for me. Otherwise, I would not have, make this decision to leave such established career, good salary, all the way behind, to start something from the very beginning with a newborn baby. It seems, and when I talk about it, it is very insane. I don't even know how I did that. However, every time that thought comes through my head, I remember that this is 100% a God's purpose and plan in my life. There's absolute no chance I would have done that if it wasn't, his will for me. And because it's insane. I mean, who with a new baby takes so many courses, leave your job with a great salary? I've been in the business for 17 years. I liked what I did so very much. Like, I was supposed to be exactly where I was. It's different. I see so many people doing this and they're like, oh, I never liked what I did. And at one point I decided to change. It was not my case. I loved what I did. I was good in what I did. Yeah. That's why there were so many conversations in my head. However, I only did it because I truly believe it was God's will for me.
That's awesome. And don't forget, there was a little thing called a pandemic happening at the time too. So
there was a big thing called pandemic. And then I was not safe. I didn't feel safe to leave my baby home with somebody else, because at one point we were so rigid with the quarantine that we weren't leaving the house and nobody was coming in. And then I was like, okay, so maybe this is a good time for me to think of something else, because I can stay home with the baby. I had one person who helped me with him a few hours of the day. And those were the hours that I could really focus on studying and taking the tests that I had to take and everything. But everything, I think pandemic changed the way everybody saw life and how we lived life, and I spent before Benjamin was born, I always worked so much, and I spent so many hours of my day working. You remember, I had like 25 meetings a day. So it was crazy. And then on pandemic and with this new baby, I also thought that I wanted to have more quality time. I still work a lot. I work more than before. However, I have some flexibility to take him to school every day. And then I take him, pick him up from school, and then I'm all his, we spend time together, and then until I put him to bed, and then I go back to work. But I have this flexibility that if I was in the corporate business, I wouldn't have. I mean, I would have to have him full-time in school ever since he was 5-6 months old. And I didn't have to do that because I chose a different journey. Being an entrepreneur is very challenging, but it gives you one good thing, which is to be owner of your time. It's not like you work less. Please don't never think that. You will never work less. However, you work in a different way. It's a different mindset. For me, it's very it's very joyful when I every day can take him to school. Every day I can pick him up. Every day I can give him a bath. Every day I can give him dinner. I can put him to bed. At the end of the day, I feel like I have accomplished. I worked very hard. I helped other women, and I spent quality time with him, and then quality time with my husband when he gets home. So I think I've been happy with the amount of important things I've been doing in my day. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And that's so important. Like you said, no, you don't work any less. And, I love when folks think like, becoming an entrepreneur is like, oh, you get to set your own time. And yeah, you do. But you also have to be productive in those times, because while you can take him to school, if you decide, well, today I'm just going to lay in bed and do nothing, that's the result of your business. If you do nothing, you get nothing, so that is fantastic. I'm so happy for you that is working out. So what would you say to someone who's thinking of becoming an entrepreneur? Like, what would be some advice that you would offer them?
You do need to see a purpose in it, different from working for somebody else. And I can say that because I worked 17 years of my life for somebody else. As long as you get a good salary and you don't hate what you do, you're able to do it okay. I mean, you go for it. You go to work every day, your 40 hours work, you meet your goals, and you can do it, okay? Because you get a salary by the end of the month, you have to pay the bills and all that. Once you become an entrepreneur, you have to see a purpose in what you're doing, because the challenges are so big that at the end of the day, you not only have to make money, but you have to be happy with what you delivered for those people. Being an entrepreneur is about serving other people. It's all about serving, and you have to see yourself doing that. I mean, you have to, at the end of the day, solve somebody's problem. And you have to see a purpose in that. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when I receive so many messages of the woman that I help, and they tell me that, I have changed their journey, that their journey as a mother have been so much different from their cousins, from their sisters. When I listen to that at the end of the day, I think that it makes sense what I'm doing. Like, it's a purpose, I see that I make a difference in somebody's life. And I think being an entrepreneur, you have to have that within you. Like, I like to serve. At the end of the day, when I talk to them and they tell me that, yeah, I like the money. Yeah, I do. I mean, I work for money as well. Don't get me wrong. And I like to make a lot of money, but it's not only about that. It's about seeing the difference you make in people's life.
That's awesome. I don't think I've ever heard it put in quite those terms, but I think that's great. Being an entrepreneur, it's to serve, because at the end of the day, yes, you are working for yourself. Yes, you are building your name and you're generating an income for you, but it has to be useful to people, because what are you selling? If people find no value in your product, they're not going to buy it. So you could build a name, but on what? Like, what are you building your name on? So no, that is fantastic. And it is hard work. I think, you're right to make sure that it's connected to a purpose, that you can see the purpose. I mean, what's the point of doing something over and over? You're saying you're doing it for you. You're working hard. You're not seeing any growth. You're not seeing any income. And I'm not talking like the initial stages when you're building, but you should be able to have milestones and set markers that you're achieving and accomplishing. Then otherwise, you may need to rethink if this is the life for you.
Yes.
This is the life for you. So so when you started the business, how have your goals shifted? I know, the passion behind it, the purpose behind it, but have your goals shifted from when you just started, or is it just evolving every day?
I did shift many goals, and very specifically, since all my background is to work with strategic planning, and that's what I did. No matter, and this is another tip I would give to whomever wants to be an entrepreneur, that no matter how small your company is, treat it as if it was a big company. So I had nothing. I didn't have even one client, but I did my budget for the year. Like, me, myself, and a big Excel, and I'm like working as if I'm in a big corporate, I set up my monthly budget of how much I was going to spend in courses. So that was all in the beginning, how much I was going to spend in courses and the branding and designing the brand, the logo and everything, registering the brand, blah, blah, blah. And then I set up how many consultants I had to sell to pay that I was spending. I did have the money to spend with the courses, because I saved money for that. But then I treated as if I had to sell to pay for that. And that's how I think you should see your business, no matter how small it is. You have your gains and you have how much you spend monthly, yearly, for that business to happen. So I did set up a few goals, considering how much I have to spend with the courses and all that. And then I did know that I would have to spend some time talking to people, and I chose social media for that, to tell them that, yes, you do need to prepare yourself for when your baby arrives, in regards to breastfeeding, sleeping, blah, blah, blah. I spent a few months, like 3 or 4 months, basically only trying to sell. I spent like 3 months before I sold my first consultant. I spent 3 months without selling one, and talking every day about it, every day, until I sold my first one. Then I set up I set up goals that I had to sell how many per month. And then when I saw that selling 5 per month was possible, I set up 7. And then I went after that, and I have my year budget that I look at it, and I know exactly what I want to sell and what I need to sell. And I know exactly what I'm spending to make this business happen. Like nowadays, I sold October, November, and December last year to pay for the course that I recorded, the info product that I just recorded. So I worked for it because I wanted to hire, somebody who could filmmaker, and somebody who could help me, arrange everything with the lighting, with the recording, with the editing and everything. So I worked 3 months, not only to pay the bills of my company, but to record this info product, because I believed this was something that I would be able not only to reach more people, but to make more money. So I always had something that I was aiming for, always. And I think this is very important, because if you don't have anything specifically that you're aiming for as a business, anything you get is it's okay, because you don't have specific goals. And I always worked, in big corporates, that you always have goals. You always have to meet your goals. You always have to think of how are you going to meet your goals. And then when I opened my very small business, before I sold one thing, I already had everything, set of how many I needed to sell, how was I going to sell. So I dedicated some time as well on presentations and things that I wanted to print, to hand out to doctors, so they can know about my business, and to send, I prepared some files about what exactly my company does, what's my purpose, and I send to specific people, to influencers. And that was one thing, it worked out for me, because I sent to a few digital influencers that were pregnant. And one of them, which is very famous, really liked the material that I sent to her, the files that I sent to her. And then she decided to talk to me, and then she hired me. She liked very much of what I did. And at this point, Suzanne, I had like 700 followers on Instagram. It was the very beginning of my page. So this was one strategic that I had, to talk to a few digital influencers. And just one of them decided to, talk to me and hired me. And then she talked about me and my services on her Instagram. And I went from 800 people to almost 3,000 people. So it gave me, yes, it was awesome, because all these people came to follow me after her recommendation. And so many people, so many ladies, pregnant ladies were following her, and they came to my page, and they like my content, and I was there every single day, constantly talking about it and showing the results. And then this was back in last October. So she was just one person who decided to believe and trust in me and in what I was saying. And then out of that one person, I sold so much for other pregnant women who came to my page after her recommendation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm hoping those that are listening have pen and paper. And if you missed it, just go back and jot these down, because this is some knowledge you're dropping here. Just really having that foundation. And, I like how you said to think of it as a big business, no matter how small you are, even before your first client. Think of your input versus your output. At the beginning, your input is zero. You're not getting any money in. but your output is still there. It dependent if you have a physical location, marketing, like everything that you do, there is a cost, associated with it. Logo, promotions, promos, anything you're doing, there's a cost. And, when you're putting things out and not getting any in, you have to plan for that so that you're like, okay, if I sell one course, I can cover this. But what if I sell 5 course? And, that I think that's fantastic. Also, in terms of if you don't have any goals, like anything can happen. Like if I don't have any goals for my business, hey, selling one t-shirt is great. But if my goal is to sell 50 t-shirts and I sold one, I need to, re-strategize and say, hey, this strategy didn't work. Let me do something else. So I think that is crucial for every entrepreneur, just having that goals for those business and for your business, and really think of it bigger than it is. And it seems like you're constantly thinking of it. You're constantly preparing. You're constantly elevating your mindset. Because the more educated you are about something, the more informed you are, the better informed they are, because you'll be giving them to that. And, it doesn't seem like we've been chatting for a while, but we have been chatting for a while. So, we're kind of winding down because I want to make sure that, they're getting the knowledge, and I will have to invite you back on the podcast because there's just so much wisdom in your tiny little body there, girl.
Oh my God. People don't have to know I'm tiny, Suzanne.
Fine. I won't say she's like 5 feet. No, not at all. So,
well, short but cute, as I already heard.
Cute. That was the expression. So we've been best friends for over 20 years. And I remember when she met my dad first time, and I introduced her, and he's like, "Oh, she's short but cute." So, she's short, but she's cute, so it's okay.
It's okay to be short. She's at least cute.
Yeah, because if she wasn't cute, she just couldn't be short. But anyway, oh my goodness, I thought that was hilarious. Well, Talita, thank you so much for jumping on and just
it was my pleasure.
Just telling us so much. And I would love to sit with you all day, but we all know, folks' attention span. I want to be respectful of people's time and your time, because I know that your day is planned out. So
yes.
I feel so honored that you gave me an opportunity to just highlight who you are and what on this platform. So I'm just going to ask you 2 more questions, and then we're going to have just kind of wrap up with you, just truly telling about your business, how to find you on social media, and, the services that you offer and things like that, just really high level, things like that. So I already tell you to give advice to entrepreneurs that are looking to start and things like that. But if you had to tell them what are the most important habits for them to develop as an entrepreneur, what would that be?
The habit, I think, is to look at your strategy constantly. Look at it. Not just wake up every day and do things on automatically mode. Like, you have to look at it strategically, because if you don't look at it in that way, you will always be the same size. Like, you will never get bigger. So you always have to do your best today, but thinking on the future. How can you literally take this business to the next level? And you only be able to do it if you have this mindset for strategic. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't look at for only what it is right now. But as the example that I gave, that I just recorded a course, to be selling in June. I thought of this course back when I thought of the company, because I knew that a year after that I would be exactly recording this course to sell and to reach more people. So you always have to take in advance. That's a habit that you have to develop if you don't have it already.
Okay. All right. That is solid advice. All right. And then I always like to ask, any regrets?
Any regrets? Not yet. No, I wouldn't say regrets. I do say challenges. There are many challenges. I miss my salary, Suzanne. I miss every 10 of each month to look at my account and see that it's there, no matter how good or how bad I did. It was there. Do you know what I mean? Now I have to make it happen every month. Like, I have to sell every single day. There is no Sunday, there is no holiday. So this is a challenge for me. You know, I've been 17 years on a mindset that, okay, I want to do my best. And I always, you know, gave all of me to what I was doing. But, you know, if I didn't do any good, my salary was there already. So that I missed.
You know what? Oh my goodness. Trust you. I always love that you just always get to the heart of the matter. You know, you need friends in your life that will always tell you the truth. Talita will always tell me the truth. She'll be like, no, Suzanne, no, just no. Like,
just no.
Just no. You will say that's foolishness, or keep telling yourself that. Like, friends will lie to you. You have never been one, even when I want you to. Never been one.
Exactly.
So I
no
appreciate
foolish.
that. You know what? But you're right. Missing your salary, and that's the thing. Is like, because good or bad, you don't hit your KPIs. You still get the money. They might put you on a performance plan, right?
Yes, and you don't get your bonus, but you get your salary. I just miss salary. You know, if I just want to hug a salary. Like, oh, I miss you.
Oh, I will talk about my journey soon, but yes, I feel your pain. You're
gonna miss not only your salary, but your vacations. I already told you that.
Oh, honey, Paul already believes nobody vacations like me. And I'm like, you've been talking to Talita. So whatever. There are certainly some regrets there. All right. So thank you so much, Talita, for just taking this opportunity, for being on the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. I think that you're an exceptional human being. I mean, you're my bestie, so you have to be. So, and, as a business leader, I always admired you when you worked for the company that we worked for together, and to see your growth over the years has been phenomenal to watch. And, to see your evolution as an entrepreneur and a business owner, where you started to the following, to increasing your growth and your impact, and what I see other people doing because you have influenced them and things like that. So I can see it. I can see the results in the business. I can see the growth in you. I can see your elevation as you speak and talk about, being a leader, things like that. So I do see great things for you. And I am so appreciative of the opportunity to sit down with you. So when you are up there as one of the world's richest women, please.
Oh my God.
And you're being invited on Oprah and CNN.
On the day that I don't miss my salary, I'm excited for that day.
God, that day is coming. I can't wait. So if I invite you to the podcast, you better remember, you got to come on. All right. So I know I dream for that day for you, when you don't miss your salary, when then you're like, oh my God, what was that? That's like, for coffee. But anyway, all right. So we are coming to about the end. So I just wanted you to just give us an overview of your business and how to contact you.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you so very much for this opportunity to chat and to share a little bit of my journey. My business right now, you can reach me on Plan4mamy. So it's PLAN 4 MAMY. I'm spelling that because it's not mommy in English. It's mommy in Portuguese.
Yes, I appreciate
.com.br, and Instagram is the same thing, Plan4mamy. And where I stand right now is selling these consultants. And now I will be in June launching my my first info product. So I am very excited about that. It's another step that I'm taking. This very month of May, I opened up my clinic. So 2 days a week, I'm helping, these clients in a specific spot, which also was another big step for me, because it's a new business, and I'm taking all these steps because I believe in it so much. And I have seen great results, even though it's a new business. So that's where we stand right now. I'm looking forward to still grow the business in these two points, the info product and the clinic. And I'm already hiring people to work with me. So, which means that, the volume of work is definitely, the demand is growing. And that just keeps pushing me a little forward. And that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. As I said, I am appreciative, and I will put all the information, how to follow her, how to contact her. If you want to hire her, the beauty of technology is you can be anywhere in the world and listen to her and follow her on Instagram. I have to get a translator. I'm going to be honest. 20 years later, I still don't speak Portuguese. But this podcast, I will admit it is my fault, but I will blame Talita in real life that it's her fault that I did.
Okay.
But
I'm not going to say here the words because they're not proper.
Please do not, because, I'm a nice little girl. But no, thank you so much. I just appreciate everything about you. And thank you for being on this podcast. I know that my listeners will be blessed, for listening, and they will be educated. And that's an important thing. They'll leave here with some tangible things to do, some things to put into effect to grow their own business and to light their own entrepreneurial path. So I'm going to have you say goodbye, and then we're going to sign off.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. I will be happy to join again.
All right. Perfect. You heard it here. I'm going to frame that thought because she's going to join us again. And until next time, this is Suzanne signing off. As always, guys, this is Suzanne saying thank you. I am saying I am humbled by your continued support. I am humbled by you continuing to tune in every time there's a new episode. I appreciate it because I know that there's a lot of podcasts out there for you to choose from, so that you continue to choose mine and listen to it. I appreciate it. So a couple of things. Want to keep reminding you guys that the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast is available. It is on my website at www.positivelysuzanne.com. It's also available in all the major podcasting directories. It's on Apple Music. It's on Amazon. It's on iHeart. It's on Google Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, and a plethora of others. So wherever you get your podcasts, I guarantee you the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast is on it. So I need you to do a couple of things for me. I need you to listen to the episode. I need you to subscribe. I need you to share the episode. I need you to write a review and spread the word. Spread the word that the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast is out there. It's happening, and it's fun and fabulous. So I want you to share it because we're trying to help more people. So again, please go ahead and share, write a review. If you want to reach out to me, you can connect with me at Suzanne@positivelysuzanne.com. You could also follow me on social media. Instagram is my main jam. So go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I am just so appreciative of everything you do. Also, buy me a coffee should be right at the bottom of the episode. So you can go ahead and buy me a coffee. Just remember that every coffee that you buy goes towards purchasing equipment to upgrade the soul, so I could be bigger and better for you all. All right. So as always, I'm so appreciative of you guys. And until next time, this is Suzanne signing off.